like to share with you what I know about the Maheshwara Sutras and their connection with the Sanskrit language. Sound has the power to create and to destroy this world and to maintain this existence also. Sound is the subtlest tanmatra from which the gross space evolved. So sound has power. There are different levels of sound vibrations in this universe. Some can be perceived by animals, some by birds, some by human beings, and subtlest of them with very vibrational intensity. They can be perceived only by the people, that is the sages, who have yogic powers and very high concentration of mind. They cannot be perceived by ordinary human beings. Like this, the Veda mantras always exist in space as different sound patterns. They can be perceived by the rishis or sages because they have very high concentration power and unique yogic powers. We do not have that power. These different sound patterns, they can perceive it. And these sound patterns, they have mostly three pitches. Pitches means swaras in Sanskrit. The high pitch, which is known as the swarita, the middle pitch known as the uddhata, and the lower pitch known as the anuddhata. So in these three pitches, they were able to perceive different sound vibration, and they refined it in their mentally. They thought about it again and again, and they refined it because these sound patterns are very crude. They were able to perceive these sound patterns and later match the Sanskrit syllables with these sound patterns, and that's how the Vedas are written in Sanskrit. Why Sanskrit? Because only Sanskrit has that vibrational match for that sound pattern. That is why it is very effective to chant the mantras only in Sanskrit, because it resembles that crude sound patterns, and all the other languages do not have that power. And this we can find in the Veda mantras, which are the Rig Veda mantras or Yajur Veda mantras or whatever Veda mantras. Under every letter of the Sanskrit syllable, you can find a line behind it, below it, a line on top of it. Some have a line top of it, and some do not have any lines, and some have two lines on top of it or two lines below that letter. A line below that letter implies the low pitch. A line above the letter implies the high pitch. And if a letter does not have any line, then it implies the middle pitch, uddhata. Some have two lines below it, and some have two lines above it, which implies the dirgha, it has the specific matra. Matra is the duration of chanting. So all these are very clearly given in the Veda mantras. If you see any Veda book, you can find it. That is why when you chant the Veda mantras, the sound and pitch is very important, more than the pronunciation. Because only later the rishis, they match the Sanskrit letters with that sound patterns. Actually the sound pattern is very important. The sound vibration is very important to get the required benefit or required result. Like this, sage Panini, it is said that he lived in the 4th century BCE in a very small village called Shalatula, which is now in the present day Pakistan. He was an illiterate and very dull son of a great scholar. So in that worry and in that frustration, he meditated on Lord Shiva. And when he meditated on Lord Shiva, he was able to perceive 14 different sound patterns. Very crude, 14 different sound patterns. And these sound patterns, it is said that it emerged out of the Damaru of Lord Shiva. Damaru is a very small two-headed drum which we can see very commonly in the hands of Lord Shiva. At the end of the cosmic dance, Lord Shiva, to bless the Sanaka sages, he rattled his Damaru 14 times. And this was recorded in the universe. And later when sage Panini meditated on Lord Shiva for knowledge and for wisdom, he was able to perceive these 14 sound patterns, and which he wrote it as the Maheshwara Sutras. These sutras are known as Maheshwara Sutras, Maheshwara Sutrani, Shiva Sutras, Shiva Sutrani, or Akshara Samanya. The entire Sanskrit Varna Mala, that is, the Varna means a syllable and Mala means sequence. The entire alphabet sequence of Sanskrit letter is found in these 14 Maheshwara Sutras. These 14 Maheshwara Sutras, that is how sage Panini perceived it from the universes. It goes like this. The first sutra is, it goes like this. The 14 sutras are: I own, Rilrik, A on, I ouch, Hayabarat, Lan, Nyamam Nanam, Jabai, Gadadash, Jabagadadash, Kafa Chatata Chatatau, Kapai, Sheshasar, Hal. Like this, he heard some crude sound patterns which he recorded, and it is you can find these sutras in his very famous grammar work Ashtadhyayi, which means the book of 8 chapters, and each chapter has 4 sections, and close to 4,000 sutras are there. It is completely about the grammar rules of the Sanskrit, and probably there is the only grammar book in this world which is followed for more than 2,500 years, and what all books that come after that is based on this Ashtadhyayi, because it's a very deep Sanskrit rule book. And sage Panini was able to derive or able to form the entire Sanskrit Varnamala based on this Maheshwara Sutras. You can find all the vowels and consonants in Sanskrit in this entire Shiva Sutras or the Maheshwara Sutras. So it is said that the Sanskrit language emerged from the Damaru of Lord Shiva, and that's why it is known as the Lord Shiva's language or the Deva Bhasha or whatever it is. It has that very high vibration which resembles to that original sound patterns in the universe. And these Maheshwara Sutras, they have a unique healing power. In our subtle body, there are 72,000 energy points or energy channels which we call as nadi. At some points, 2 energy paths intersect, and a sound is emerged from that path and from that center, and that center is known as the sandhi. In some energy points, 3 energy channels or 3 energy points intersect. That point is known as the Marmasthana. And in some energy points, more than 3 energies converge, and they are called as the chakras. It is said in Yogic Shastra there is more than 108 chakras in our subtle body. Among them, 7 of them are very important, which falls on the straight Sushmana channel in our backbone. And it is very common, everyone knows about it. It is the from Mooladhara chakra to the Sahasrara chakra. In each of these nadis or in each of these sandhis or marmasthana or the chakra, a single sound predominates. In each chakra, a sound predominates and other sounds are centered around it. And each chakra is represented by a Sanskrit syllable which corresponds to that sound. Like this, the Mooladhara chakra is represented by the letter Lam, Swadhisthana chakra by the letter Vam, Manipuraka chakra by the letter Ram, Anahata chakra by the letter Yam, Vishuddha chakra by the letter Hum, Agnya chakra by the letter and Sahasrara chakra by the letter O. So when you chant that letter or when you utter that letter, particular letter, that chakra gets activated and all the organs connected with that chakra gets healed. But when you chant the Maheshwara Sutra, all these nadis, all the energy points or the chakras and all the organs connected with it gets healed, because this Maheshwara Sutra, the entire Varnamala is there and it has a unique power. When you chant a syllable in Sanskrit, everything connected with that syllable, that is all the energies connected with that syllable gets manifested. Like this, for example, like the color that gets manifested, then the form, like this, the energy, everything gets manifested when you chant a Sanskrit syllable because it has a very high vibration. And the Bija mantras are also based on this principle. Bija mantras are nothing but they are just the Sanskrit syllables. They manifest high energy. That's the main thing in the Bija mantras. It is said when this cosmos evolved, a particular sound that created that plane of existence. So when you pronounce that akshara or syllable corresponding to that sound, then that same thing gets manifested in us. For example, when you chant Shri, it is the level of existence, that is the vibration sound for the existence layer of prosperity, wealth. I is the layer of existence for the knowledge, power to speak, everything. So when you chant that Bija mantras, all that power gets manifested in us and we get more benefits in life. So the Bija mantras are the direct address to that deity or that Saguna Brahman on that level of existence. It is the direct call of that individual soul to that deity or to that plane of existence. So it is very powerful, Bija mantras, and that's why Bija mantras are very powerful. And each Bija mantra represents a deity or a Saguna Brahman on that level of existence, the layer of existence. So when this universe evolved, this sound created that plane of existence. It is said like that. And these Bija mantras, they work in the unseen planes of the universe. So they are very powerful. And Sanskrit letters plays a very important role in this creation of this universe, because every sound pattern in this universe has a letter corresponding to that sound pattern. The Veda mantras, they are different sound patterns and which the rishis perceived from this universe, and analyzing these sound patterns is known as the Shabda Shastra. And the original sound of the Vedas, the original crude sound of the Vedas is known as the Vaidiha Bhasha. Later they refined these sounds and they matched the Sanskrit syllables which resembles that sound patterns, and that's how the Vedas are written. So the basis of the Sanskrit language is from the Damaru of Lord Shiva, and that's why it is said this Sanskrit language is imperishable, because all the sound patterns corresponding to these aksharas are always exist in space. They always exist in space. And that's why Sanskrit language is imperishable. It is said as the Deva Bhasha, and all the mantras are in the Sanskrit language. Originally, they are heard as crude sound patterns from the universe, like the Maheshwara Sutra. So Maheshwara Sutra is the basis of the Sanskrit language. Thank you for watching.